All right. I told you I was gonna do this weekend. Found some time to squeeze it in. Make sure you got thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Yeah, let's talk about the Lions 2022 season. I think it was a successful one. Uh, I think they exceeded most of you guys' expectations. Now you got some people going out here saying that well, I had the Lions, winning 8 or 9 games. I said this and I said that, you know, but it is what it is. But I think that it was a successful season for many reasons. We'll get into a few topics, man. I did a video version of this, so hopefully you watched it, you enjoyed it. But yeah, check out the Lions One-on-One playlist, Detroit Lions Talk playlist for more videos like this. Do me a favor, thumbs up the video. This will be on Spotify, Anchor in the morning. You can find that by hitting the link tree, the first link in the description. Appreciate y'all. But yeah, I mean, obviously it was a season that started off with them 1-6. And ultimately they came back to bite them in the hindsight, right? Going 1-6 hurt their chances. There were some games in there in which they should have won. And I think the thing that really hurt them the most this season, early in the season, was the injuries. And not only was it the injuries, but it was the coaching. I believe Dan Campbell made the defense worse than what it appeared to be. And in the Philadelphia Eagle game, I think it showed. I think it absolutely showed in the Philadelphia Eagle game. And I shut up Gregory Tumba. No, I ain't add nobody today, man. Maybe later, but I doubt it. But shout out to Tumba though. I don't think you want to come on the way your Seahawks got house yesterday. Messed up my parlay. But yeah, you can hit the link tree. It's the first link in the description. It's also pinned right here in the live chat. But in that Philadelphia Eagle game, one thing that I did notice was that he made some questionable decisions in that, some fourth down decisions that and he did that versus the 49ers in the first game in his first year in the 2021 season, where he put the defense in some binds. So a lot of early in that 1-6 start, the defense were on short fields, and that's kind of made them look worse than what they were. They was in a lot of short field opportunities. So one, you're dealing with a lot of injuries. That's something to think about. So now you're putting a defense that got injuries that a lot of people don't think any good. Now you're putting them in a short field. So now we put them on a short field, and guess what? Now they're giving up touchdowns. Now, maybe if you punt the ball, you back the offense up a little bit, maybe those touchdowns will turn into more turnovers and more field goals. That could be something to think about. But, that wasn't the case. And, Philadelphia took advantage of it. You got to remember in that Eagles game, the Lions defense had shut them. I think it had put them to like a few 3-and-outs, or they got them off the field without them scoring. And, Dan Campbell wanted to remain aggressive. and he did, and he had the onside kick. And that really messed up the team. He really messed up the team by doing that, bro. So, the Washington game, it looked good. I mean, DeAndre Swift ran the ball well. Minnesota game is where I think that was the first turning point to see if they was real or not. And once again, it was the injuries. So you already injured. Okay, you already injured as a ball club coming in. No Zorky, they lied about him. You know what I'm saying? Pascal, he was injured before football was snapped. Who else we had out there? I forget what game Tracy Walker got injured in. Couldn't remember. Melifano was injured the majority of the season. So Monty Raria, he wasn't nothing after his back got injured. So defensively, I mean, you already down, a number of guys. And I told y'all the second most important player to this team was Zorky behind Jared Goff, because you needed to push, you need to collapse the pocket, from the middle of the defense, and Aiden Hutchinson didn't have that. Then you carry on, Kaminsky go down, Charles Harris go down. And when all that happened, guess what y'all was saying? Y'all was saying that Aiden Hutchinson was a bust. Some people were saying, make sure I thumbs up the video. Some people were saying Aiden Hutchinson was a bust. And I'm just thinking, like, bro, it's literally just him on the defensive line. Think about it. Julian Okoye, he was injured to start the season off. He eventually did come back. But Julian, I think I injured him. So Julian, Romeo, Harris went down. Kaminsky went down. That's 4 defensive linemen that went down. And remember, you ain't had James Houston just yet. And Brad Holmes said James Houston was the one tearing it up in practice. But I'm trying to figure out, how was y'all not able to get him on the active roster when all them defensive linemen went down? Then we talk a little draft talk towards the end, because they got us taking the edge rusher. And I'm just thinking, like, he got to be big time, because they got a tremendous amount of edges already, depending on who come back and who don't come back. So you got to understand, bro, that's one of the reasons why, I don't do predictions no more. I don't give a number of how many games they're going to win no more. That's only from a standpoint of, for years, they unpredictable. But I wasn't high on them coming into this year, as y'all was watching Hard Knock and all that, for one reason, and one reason only. They had a lot of injuries coming into this season. Romeo, Julian, Zorky were the most important one. Then you lose Walker. Then the Malafanu hurt his back. Who else you had out there? You lose Kaminsky. You lose Harris. You lose all those guys. What did you expect? Some teams can't afford to lose 1 or 2 guys. They lost a whole starting defensive line. So now you throw in Bugs, Jones. They came in and did a great job this year. Aleem McNeil, he more of a plugger. He did have a good pass rushing game versus the New York Giants. It was Hutchinson by himself, And thank God Deshaun Elliott came in, and he was really good. Thank God Malcolm Rodriguez came in. He was really good. Thank God Anazoni was solid. Thank God Derek Barnes got better. Thank God Jeff Okudah was solid. Really good this year until, he got injured, but we'll get there. So, so then you factor all the injuries. Then you got a lot of guys that just got through together at the end of it. They got through together. Bugs got through in sometime later in the offseason. Benito Jones got through in sometime later in the offseason. You got a rookie at Aiden Hudson. His ace, Charles Harris, go down. Charles Harris, ace, Romeo, go down last year. And they say Tracy Walker already running at 4 months. So, he looking to get back. So you had a lot of stuff. Mike Hughes new to the defense. So, one, you didn't get a lot of, Jerry Jacobs was injured coming into the season. So they didn't get an opportunity to gel the way, they didn't get an opportunity to gel the way they needed to gel. Okay, you got to understand. It's not like baseball where I could throw a couple people in together and it's gonna work. It's a camaraderie sport. On top of that, Dan Campbell putting them in bad positions. Of course. Next year they should be a lot more healthier. Next year they should be a lot more healthier, dude. Therefore, that's what I'll continue to say through the season. Next year, it's going to be like you get a whole new free agent or draft class coming in. You probably bring Romeo back on a prove it deal. I don't see why you wouldn't bring Kaminsky back. I think Charles Harris should be back. Apparently Tracy Walker's already running. The lighter you are, the easier it is to recover from an ACL injury, apparently. Okay. Jerry Jacobs would be a full year back from the ACL. Jeff Okuda, a full year back from the Achilles. And then I think the head injury, Jeff Okuda was never right after the head injury. Okay. So, you get, so right then and there, hey, you healthier right there. Kirby Joseph showed up. You probably bring back Deshaun Elliott. Tracy Walker probably gonna come back and probably take a minute to get healthy. Hopefully you banking on Anazorki to come back, but that's your biggest need going into the offseason is the interior line. Pascal will be back at 100%. Aiden Hutchinson will be back with a year under his belt. So James Houston, hard worker, he'll be back. So you got a lot of defensively, and I know that's what people think you need help at, but defensively, the best help you're gonna get is just getting healthy. It is what it is. He said NFL, my real NGL is my real life. I'm be more interested in NFL a bit. I play 2 sports. I got 1 more year in college. I don't want to hear that side story bullshit. Now, if that was us getting our ass whooped and y'all let us in the playoffs, you was gonna talk your shit. So no, I ain't letting you off the hook. And y'all messed up my parlay. F Seattle. Tracy got hurt in Minnesota. Thank you, bro. Thanks, Armando. Mike, what's going on? Y'all go subscribe to Lions Talk. My chat sports, my boy Micro Mike. Salute. He said, Daryl Jones, what's going on? He said, it's going on 4 years. I've been a subscriber to yours. Great content. Damn, I've been on here 4 years. Yeah, about 6, going on 6 years. I just credit this as a hobby. I appreciate you, bro. Should be a good year next year. Yeah. I'm not going to be too optimistic about that. I'm just going to say even killed. But, yeah, it should be a great offseason. Should be a great year next year. They got a tough schedule. I'm going to do a video on that. I don't know when, but I'm going to try to get to it. But it should be. But you know what? Conventional wisdom doesn't necessarily – the Lions don't necessarily follow conventional wisdom. So I'm going to see, if Ben Johnson comes, how all this stack up. But to me – I just think their biggest additions is going to be healthy guys coming back and getting in the fold. I'm more excited about that than the draft right now. Is getting guys back healthy of what this defense and this offense look like when it's healthy. But then you had the Seattle game. I didn't really watch that game per se a lot. My mom was getting married that day, so I can't really speak. But they gave up a lot of points that game. New England game, they had a lot of injuries. St. Brown got hurt in the Minnesota game. I don't think he got healthy for a while. It was a while before he was 100% when he came back. So, but when his ankle kind of got better, he got better. But I'm really trying to kind of talk about the defense. We spent so much time on the offense. So, the Dallas game, that turned around. Jamal Williams fumbled on the goal line. That turned that game around. We still was beat up in that game. We was healthy. Look here, man. We was healthy, dude. We probably would have won all these games, to be honest. Real talk. We probably would have won all them games. Only game I could probably say we probably would have struggled with was just going to New England in general. But Miami game, that was another game defensively. Couldn't stop nobody. Didn't expect to stop them and hold them to 31, but it was competitive. But, out of these games, bro, that I watched, the Minnesota game was the most painful one. The Philadelphia game was winnable. He made the same mistake 2 years in the opener back-to-back, being too aggressive, but it is what it is. He learned from his mistakes. The Minnesota game, that's the game that they should have had. Dallas game was another game. It was just health, and Brad Holmes just got to put a premium on getting healthy. We already know what happened down this stretch. They got hot. The Buffalo game was another game. Austin Bryant made a boneheaded penalty. I would have cut his ass. I'm sorry. I really would have. He was trash for that, but he's a good special teams player for sure. Carolina game, I think that was needed as far as the growth of the franchise. A lot of people started thinking the SOL was gone and we was above the law. And Carolina dished out some humble pie. You needed that going into the offseason. You needed that ass whooping to kind of bring everybody back down to the level. Yeah. Hit me up, bro. I'll be a little busy, but usually Saturdays and Sundays I'm free. Or Friday. Sometimes Friday nights, it depends. What do you think we need most outside of defensive tackle? Get healthy. But I'll get to the draft talk. Draft Noah Sewell. I don't know. What does brother play? Defensive tackle? I haven't seen his brother play. I think we need a good nickel corner. Maybe Tracy could do a corner classes deep. I would draft a corner early. I'm sorry. I wouldn't. To me, you got enough young corners out here. Jeff Okuda, Jerry Jacobs, Chase Lucas. You need a veteran at corner. They need to go out there and find them a veteran. I talked about trading for Jalen Ramsey. If they, but it seems like that's unlikely with Sean McVay coming back and Matthew Stafford expected to come back. So you got to go out there and find you a veteran. I'm not sure about how good Greedy Williams been in the league. How they feel about Chase Lucas stepping up at the nickelback position. I can't really speak on that. But yeah, I think, maybe a young nickel. But to be honest, bro, I think they really need a veteran corner out there. No more young guys at corner, bro. You got a plethora of young DBs: Kirby Joseph, Melifanu, Chase Lucas, Jerry Jacobs, Jeff Okuda. I mean, you got a lot of young corners. Amani Araria, he probably won't be back. But my thing is, you got a lot of young corners, bro. But we'll get to the draft talk, second half of the video. But carrying on, defensively, it's just about getting healthy. I think he said, outside the D tackle, middle linebacker is a need. I don't care what they say. They need a middle linebacker. And I think they need a veteran cornerback. And after that, an outside cornerback. I think you just continue to build the depth. So, yeah. Who would you release? Who would you get a bag to? I don't know who up. I haven't looked at the free agents, so I have to look. But I would probably pretty much bring back everybody. I bring back Shark, Jamal Williams, Kaminsky. It's not nobody I wouldn't bring back right now, other than maybe a Raurier. Trey, what's going on, bro? We gonna pass up on Missy Elliott. Who's Missy Elliott? I don't know who that is. What's up, Alex? But yeah, defensively, that's all. I think Dan Campbell was their biggest nemesis this year, and injuries was their biggest nemesis this year. In that order, I think Aaron Glenn had to make an adjustment, but that's another thing. That's why you need a middle linebacker. Since Aaron Glenn loved playing a lot of man coverage, you gotta get your middle linebacker that can cover them backs. That can, get that Urlacher type of depth in them deep zones. So they got to find a middle line. But the thing about drafting a middle linebacker, they take some time to develop, bro. They take time to develop. You know what I'm saying? And how to learn and play in this league. So, but I do think if you're talking about trading this offseason defensively, or, going into free agency, cornerback, and maybe an outside chance of middle linebacker, depending on, kind of where you at with it at. But I think Anazoni kind of gives you the ability to be able to afford to draft somebody younger later in the draft and develop them behind Anazoni. But maybe they like how Derek Barnes is kind of like developing. But I think they need a traditional size middle linebacker that can move and thump and run and all that. That's why I like the kid from Washington a couple years ago coming out of Kentucky, Jamin Davis. I liked him a lot. Like the kid Zaven Collins out of Arizona a lot. But it's gonna take some time for those guys to develop. So yeah, you need those guys sideline to sideline. Guys like Minnesota, Eric Kendricks get the depth, can cover. So yeah, you need those guys, and I think the defensive line that you building around the linebackers made it easier for Malcolm Rodriguez and Anazoni. So, I think you think about putting a middle. Everybody talking about putting a quarterback in kind of getting a developmental quarterback. I think you at the point in Detroit that it's time to get a developmental inside linebacker if you don't go veteran and start kind of getting him behind Anazoni and continue to build the line. But offensively, I mean, ain't too much to say about the offense, honestly. They played well. Goff was a baller this year. Ain't not much to say about it. You know, the ball coming out on time. You love to have the ability to have the mobility from Goff. You like to see him take off a little bit more, but you understand why Jared Goff wouldn't take off as much. Um, so yeah, I mean, honestly, I like what they was doing. I noticed that Ben Johnson kind of loved to throw the ball on third downs a lot. Um, on first downs, excuse me. But I think there's some room for effort running the football schematically. And obviously, DeAndre Swift kind of fell off. You say, well, what's the biggest need offensively? I would go ahead and say the running back position, just what Kenneth Walker was able to do for the Seattle Seahawks. And I don't know what his numbers was yet. Like yesterday versus Seattle, but he ran pretty well yesterday, given what they gave him. You like to see him kind of more involved in the passing game a little bit, but he ran hard yesterday. He ran real hard. So what Brees Hall did for Zach Wilson, and then Zach Wilson was kind of kind of lost when he went out the lineup. So they need somebody. They need guys like that. You love Jamal Williams. He gonna get his. He gonna help the younger back out there. You probably want to keep DeAndre Swift in the cut. I have no issue with that. But yeah, I think it's time for them to go out there and get a quarterback. I mean, a running back. Who can do it all. And I know that Bijan kid from Texas, there's some health concerns about him. I looked at he had an elbow, whatever. But he got some really good feet, quick feet. Kind of put you in the mindset of Amir Abdullah, how quick he is with his feet and his ability to cut. But it looked like he got better long speed than Amir Abdullah. So that's the crazy thing about it. It seemed like his long speed is a lot better than his. Just his straight line speed is a lot better. So but yeah, that's just one thing I looked at it. But right guard is going to be something I don't see a lot of people talking about. Yeah, high tie. I mean, you can cut him, probably save a lot of money. And I think the idea, in my opinion, around getting a right guard is somebody that can eventually kick to the right tackle position, and you're going to eventually kick Sewell to the left tackle position. So when you go out there and start talking about a right guard, I think you want to have a versatility. You want him to have the versatility to be athletic enough to kick to the right tackle position. You just want the versatility in general, and then eventually Sewell down the line can kick the left tackle. He can take the right tackle, and also his ability to play right tackle, he able to pull and do some things out there. So I think those are two things right there. You love the way the receiver core is, built up. You can talk about DeAndre Hopkins and all that type of stuff, but I love to bring back DJ Shark. Khalif Raymond is growing into the receiver that that we didn't see coming. Shout out to Jamal Agnew, had a couple big runs yesterday, but Agnew never developed as a receiver more than return man. Khalif Raymond is somebody that you can build depth around. You probably bring back Quintez Cephas. Wouldn't have no problem with that because there's nobody really like Cephas on the team other than St. Brown. But Cephas is a good chain mover. Khalif is just good. He good at deep balls. He's starting to develop underneath. St. Brown good at everything. DJ Shark good at deep balls. And he did some things underneath. Josh Reynolds good big body receiver. So that's one thing you like about Reynolds and Shark. They big body receivers. They give you the bigger receivers that can go into the slot, stay on the outside. St. Brown can give you somebody that can go deep. Yak. Khalif Raymond kind of doing a little bit of everything too. And then Jameson Williams, he give you a guy that and a lot of people may not have seen a lot of him at Alabama. He does what he's basically St. Brown, but way more explosive. That's what he give you. He a chain mover. He's somebody that can take it to the house. He's somebody that can run the complete route tree. Good, crisp in and out of routes. You seen in the Green Bay game when he caught the ball down the sideline for the touchdown they called back. He had to wait for the ball a little bit, but once he caught the ball, he was able to pull away from two Green Bay defenders. Like it's like a Porsche pulling away from a Pinto. So his speed is going to open everything else. So there's no reason to tweak that receiver core. You're going to need the depth. Um, and they're building something. It seems like they're building a brotherhood. They're building a nice rotation. Nice camaraderie with Jared Goff. There's no reason to tweak with that. So I wouldn't tweak that. I'll keep them together. Now, if it's a situation where somebody fall to you and he graded high, like let's say per se somebody like DK Metcalf, fell to you, he graded high, injury concern, but he the best player on the board, then you got to take him. So that's just, I understand that. So, but offensively, tight end wise, you love the kid from Notre Dame. They had us taking him in one of the mock drafts on Tankathon. I've been watching him since he was a freshman. And the other kid from Georgia, pretty good. He got another year too. But that's just a bad omen for any GM to come to Detroit and take a tight end in the first round. But I love the kid, but I just think it's other more important needs. You love Zestra, love Brock Wright, and I think really gonna love to learn James Mitchell. I think that's kind of why TJ Hawkinson was moved on. James Mitchell, very athletic tight end out of Virginia Tech. Zelstra, good pass catcher as well too. Brock Wright, kind of your Brandon Pettigrew type of guy, can block but also can catch the ball. So they got a good core at a tight end. So a tight end receiver, they good at. You just the running back position. You can't depend on DeAndre Swift next year. And I think it's time to starting to move on. So to somebody else. You can find, running backs everywhere, But he says keep the core in place and improve that defense. Y'all swept the Packers, which was the right direction, 5-1 division. Does Sports Talk Entertainment. The defense just wasn't healthy. That's all it was. They get healthy. They'll be a better unit just by being healthy. So anything you add on to that unit is just gonna be a plus. But they do need to start to kind of do what Aaron Glenn want to do schematically, and that's to be more man coverage guy. So if you're gonna be a man coverage team, got to get better defensively up front with pass rushing, which they will get better, but especially middle defense. You got to get a middle linebacker that can cover and do everything. Middle linebackers do take time to get. Jared Devers still not getting good. Yeah, take time. In the first round, I don't know enough about the kid. I seen some of his tapes. I love his feet and his athleticism, but somebody at work was telling me he has some injury concern. 2 nose tackles, and Walker corners out. I don't know what that meant. They don't need any more. They need 3 techniques. They need defensive tackles who are gonna penetrate and do everything. They need a Dominican suit. Gerald McCoy, Warren Sapp. He said, "I take Virginia's salary cap, fits the line better." What we got. I don't know enough about his injury history, so I couldn't really tell you, to be honest. But I seen some highlights, and I like his feet quickness. And then some, my boy in Texas said he's the best running back in. Make sure to thumbs up, but he's the best running back in the draft. So I think they said Blake Corum coming back too. So that's what I heard. I heard Blake Corum was coming back. So he was like the 4th or 5th running back in the draft too. This was before the injury too. So, but yeah, let me finish the offense, then we can dive into some draft talk. The last 30 minutes, but yeah, offensively, I know y'all want to talk about Goff. The line is good. I think I'll go younger at right guard. Somebody with the versatility to kick off at tackle. Anything else to really speak on the backs other than Goff? Yeah, I think you got to add a back, the back, and everybody else just have to compliment them eventually. But when you do that, watch DeAndre Swift take off. If you take it back early, when I consider early, round 1, 2, maybe even 3. But Jared Goff, we spoke about Goff so much. He played so well this year. He did enough to hold down the position. He got better. I think he seemed like he might be more of a better leader than Stafford was when he was here. And one thing about him, and I did a video about it, that I noticed when Jared Goff is hot and in a rhythm, he hot for the rest of the game. With Stafford was hot in spurts. You know what I'm saying? If it was coming back from after, being down by 10 or 15, 20 points, or, it's hot for the first half of the game and then they taper off and settle for field goals or stop moving the football. When Jared Goff get into a rhythm, it's hard to break Jared Goff rhythm. And that's one thing you like. But, kind of asterisk by it is Jared Goff is open to running the ball. So when you open to running the ball, that helps you stay in rhythm a lot better. That's the difference between him and Goff. Is kind of like the time said right here. Goff is more of a passive aggressive gunslinger. I don't really think he really a gunslinger. I agree with you what he said I agree with what he's saying, but he's not really a gunslinger. He a gunslinger just like to throw the football and take chances. Thing with Goff, like he said, he's passive. He's more methodical about slinging the ball. But you know what? Goff don't have no problem handing the ball off, no matter how hot he is or at the point of the game. I felt with Matthew Stafford that Stafford didn't really want to believe in a run game. Playing in the dome, Matthew Stafford wanted to throw the football around the field. I got a black squirrel in my backyard. My cousin from North Carolina, he said he had never seen a black squirrel. Hilarious. The motherfuckers got roaches down there that could fly. He told me you ain't never seen a black squirrel. But yeah, with Jared Goff, it's I think what keeps him hotter longer is that the playbook is 100% available to him. That's what I believe it is. The playbook is 100% available to him. And with Matthew Stafford, he just wanted to continue to throw the football. So it's hard to establish the run with a quarterback that just wanted to throw. With Jared Goff don't mind icing the game running the ball. Jared Goff don't mind if I'm 12 for 12. He don't mind handing the ball off 12 times in a row. You know what I'm saying? So with Matthew Stafford, I just thought he just wanted to throw the ball around the yard a lot. And with Jared Goff, he give you the whole playbook. You run the ball, whatever. So I think that's why, Matthew Stafford, I think it was an inability to commit to the run. I think that had a lot to do with Matthew Stafford wanting to throw the ball around the field and him having so much I think with him having so much say so over the offense. And Jared Goff had to say so year one too. Anthony Lynn just did what Jared Goff wanted to do. You see what I'm saying? That's what he did. Whatever Jared Goff was comfortable with, that's what Anthony Lynn called. And I think, and I said this in my Ben Johnson Jared Goff video, I think the thing about it was Ben Johnson said, you know what? I'm gonna go watch the film. I'm gonna take notes to see what Jared Goff do well, what he don't do well. I'm gonna have Goff sit down, watch the film, what you do, what you don't do well. Look through this playbook. Tell me the plays that you liked in the past, what the plays you like here, what you don't like. And they all came together and collaborated on a playbook week by week. That's one thing about it. The playbook that they came up with was a week by week playbook. You heard the Carolina defensive coordinator, anonymous defensive coordinator, say there was no tendencies. Every week it was something different. So, I mean, one can always wonder, what if they had an athletic quarterback? What else Ben Johnson can cook up? How more diverse their playbook would be. But the recipe for winning championships is to run the ball, stop the run, get after the passer. Those are the three main things. And they starting to get to the running the football a lot better. It'd be interesting to see a healthy offensive line completely. Whoever that may be at right guard, high tie somebody else. They got better at stopping the run. Should get better next year with some additional guys coming back into the draft and guys coming back from injury. And getting after the passer should get spooky too. You're gonna bring some of them edge rushers back too. So but yeah, with Jared Goff, that's what you like about him. I mean, I think he gives you the whole entire playbook. Regardless how hot he is, I think there's no ego involved in statistics. I don't think there's any Pat Stafford statistics there. And Brett Favre was the same way. Brett Favre, when he got into a rhythm, he just wanted to keep throwing. Peyton Manning, you hear him and Jeff Saturday, get into a shout match on the sideline, and they cussing each other out about, we need to run the ball. And Peyton said, just do your job and block. But, that's one thing that Dan Campbell established when he took over play calling last season or in 2021 season was that they're going to run the football. And I think that's one place. I think that's a major improvement for the Lions is running the football. I think they need to start some more plays running the football. I think they'd be all right, but I think their backs got wore down, last year. So, but yeah, I think their backs kind of got wore down last year, and they wasn't accustomed to running the football like that. So, Houston gonna get shut down or keep busting. Uh, I think it's hard to shut down James Houston because especially next year because you got so much help. He gonna be impossible. They're gonna be impossible to stop, depending if they bring everybody back. Because guess what? I rotate in Romeo. I rotate in Hutchinson. I rotate in Charles Harris. I rotate in Kaminsky. I rotate in Houston. I rotate in Brian. He always gonna be fresh. He always gonna be fresh. So you're gonna be getting they D line gonna be hard to stop because they come in waves. He said, "Would you trade 6 or trade up for Carter?" I don't know. I gotta see more. I gotta see more of him. I gotta see more of the draft. I haven't watched a ton of these guys yet, but yeah, I don't know enough about a lot of these guys, bro. I ain't gonna lie. The Miles Murphy kid, I don't know enough about him. Tyree Wilson, so I'm gonna have to get to work on this draft stuff, bro. The Carter kid, I like him a lot though. But necessarily, you don't really move up for that caliber for defensive lineman like that. But they need them. I don't know much about Brian Brees neither. I heard some people don't really like him. TCU receiver is good. Khalid Ringo, I think, is a little bit overrated. So yeah, I gotta get to work on some of these dudes, bro. For real, I gotta get to work on some of these guys. So it's gonna be interesting. I know Will Anderson, Bryce Young, Jalen Carter, C.J. Stroud. I seen a little bit of Levis. I know Quentin Johnston from TCU. Seen him. Know a little bit about Joey Porter, the corner from Penn State. Anthony Richardson. Seen some of him, developmental guy. Michael Mayer, like I said, I see him since he was a freshman at Notre Dame. Jackson Smith-Njigba, I know a lot about him. You probably think if you're the Green Bay Packers, that's probably, I don't know much about Jordan Addison, somebody you might have your eye on. See some of Bijan Robinson. I seen some of these dudes, man, and it's going to shake up. Some of this going to shake up. Going to see risers, some fallers, and all that type of stuff. So, but just before you head into free agent, let me read some comments, and then we'll keep going. But I don't know yet, to be honest. But I like Carter, but you usually don't move up for those guys. But you can with all them picks you got. He's definitely exactly what you need at that position. People say, well, his motor. And that's something that Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes don't play about. But they said the same thing about make sure the thumbs up button about the kid from Myles Garrett. They said the same thing. Remember he walked out on the interview with Booger McFarland. Jared Goff is a passive aggressive field general. Yeah, I would say that. And I think that's what they need in this offense. But he takes his shot down the field too. The first year, wasn't nobody that can get down the field to do it, and they couldn't scheme it up. But he'd take his shots. He sure will. I don't think we take the running back in the first round. Hopefully, our first 2 rounds are defense. Like I said, you can't necessarily do that, bro. Like y'all be saying, shout out to Dildo. You can't be saying like, oh, we got to take defense. You can't do that. Then you start. Oh my bad. I probably put this on the screen. This on the screen. Oh yeah. My bad. But then you start missing talent. You can't necessarily say, well, I got to take defense in the first 2 rounds. No, you got to take the best available talent that's there. You can't just say, oh, we're going to just take defense the first 2 rounds. No. Whoever the best player on the board, you got to take them. Hate to break that to y'all. I told y'all, y'all going to get a lot of healthy guys back defensively, coming in. Don't forget, you're going to get Anazorki back, hopefully. I don't know about that. Knock on wood. You're going to get Romeo back. You're going to get Jerry Jacobs back. You're going to get Charles Harris back. Kaminsky will be 100%. Pascal will be 100%. Barnes and Rodrigo going to be better. You're going to get Tracy Walker back. He already running. Kirby Joseph should be better. Sean Elliott, I don't know his contract. I would like to see him back. Jeff Okuda going to be back. This is first game playing double-digit games since college. Of course, after the head injury and after the fatigue of not being able to play the last 2 seasons, of course, there was going to be some drop-off. You know what I'm saying? So you're getting a lot of guys back, but I really don't think a young corner is the thing. I don't think you going out there getting another young corner going to help this franchise. To help this franchise, I'm sorry. Now, if he the best player on the board, so be it. They need a veteran back there. You got enough young DBs. You need somebody that's going to stabilize the DB room. And if that's trading some capital to get it, if that's waiting for somebody to get traded to get it, if that's going out there and get greedy, well, the only thing I don't like is taking somebody off a major injury. Stroud still hasn't declared the draft. Yeah, they said that they putting together a very good NIL deal to keep him there. I doubt it. I doubt it. I like Andre Carter. Like I said, I haven't seen most of these guys play, bro. So, um, you talking about the original Andre Carter, defensive lineman? Cam Smith, the corner. He wound up in LA. He said Lions need to upgrade a running back, swift and inconsistent. Yeah, that's somewhere there. I mean, people could talk about that, but when you talk about that 6th pick, you probably talking about Jalen Carter, or Will Anderson. Quarterback wise, I think you always start there. I think you look and I don't think you'll be able to get a shot at Bryce Young. But I wasn't a fan of C.J. Stroud. Levis, I love the arm strength. I think that they have a conversation with Levis. I think you will. Hold on. I think you will have that. I think you will have that conversation with Levis, Richardson. I hear a lot about Tanner McKee. I think Hendon Hooker. You had a conversation about him later on. He's an older guy too, but he busted his leg. So I think you have I don't know much about the BYU court, but I think you have a conversation about all these guys. Everybody in this board, I think you have a conversation about. And obviously Chicago's having a conversation about Bryce Young. You have to have a conversation. But once you take Bryce Young, if you're the Chicago Bears real quick, then your capital, you traded all your defensive talent, right? You starting over, other than Eddie Jackson, Jaquan Biscuit, a couple guys over there. You traded Roquan, Khalil Mack, Robert Quinn. But the thing about bringing Bryce Young on for Chicago is just a complete reset again. You reset. And got to remember, they got a new GM too. And they got a new arena coming, so it's a complete reset. The difference is now when you have a smaller quarterbacks, you have to build the interior linemen first. So now you got to have big guards, big centers that can create a very comfortable pocket. Then you got to have really good tackles to protect them. So really you build a line inside out. So you got to create a clean pocket for him so he can find the passing lanes. And then you have to protect the tackles around him too. And then, he has some injuries this year too. He's a smaller guy. So, I mean, it's all about how – and, Justin Fields not that guy. We've seen that in Detroit when Quinn Trisha came in, got rid of a lot of the talented guys. Glover Quinn didn't even get a shot. Quadre got put out. Darius got put out. They got rid of a lot of guys because they just weren't their guys. And that ain't the way to do it. Talent is talent. You figure out a way to fit your talent within, fit the talent within your program. And that's what Ben Johnson did. He took Jared Goff talent and fit it within his program or built his program around it. So, but looking at these guys, I like Levis' arm. I'm a sucker for a strong arm quarterback. Anthony Richards, he'd be a developmental guy. It's a guy possibly you could take in the first round. You have a pick around there. I think he gonna move up because people gonna love the athleticism. You love if his dimensions are right, 6'4", 232. Somebody you let Ben Johnson or Mark Brunell work with behind the scene. I'm all for that. Taking him in the first round and building him up. I mean, maybe Tanner McKee. I don't know what he built with. Got great size at 6'6", 228. Maybe you feel like you could do something with C.J. Stroud. I don't know. But I think if anybody, Ohio State quarterback would need some time to learn and develop and learn to throw the football and where to go. But Bryce Young is such a crunch time quarterback. I mean, Chicago, let's say somebody said, well, let's trade up for Bryce Young. Chicago is going to tax the hell out of Detroit to move up. So, if they're going to tax you, and people say, well, how do you feel that Chicago wasn't – they had to rebuild around Bryce Young before building a team. How do you feel about Bryce Young in Detroit? I mean, I'd evaluate him more, but Detroit has they have a good offensive line. They have his college receiver in Jameson Williams. He gonna make the backs more explosive. He athletic. So it'll be a more seam. We different from what Chicago is in our development. So it'll be a fit. I mean, am I willing to give up the draft to do so? You could do so because you have a lot of healthy guys coming back. But I also think Jared Goff has afforded you more time to look for a quarterback, more time to get a guy like Tanner McKee or Anthony Richardson and to build behind them. Or let's say Levis or Stroud fall down or somebody like that. So I think Jared Goff is, earned the right to build with Jameson and those guys. And, you take a quarterback and just build behind Goff for a couple years. And if you're talking about a couple years, I think CJ Stroud needs some time to learn to go through the progressions and all that stuff as a QB. I think Bryce Young, even if you go to Chicago, maybe you get some time to put him in the weight room and get stronger and get up to 205 or 210 or put some weight on. So I think all these quarterbacks probably can use some time, can sit. Aaron Rodgers said, Patrick Mahomes said, a lot of guys said. I think Tom Brady said. I wouldn't mind taking a quarterback sitting behind him. And if you had to ask me, I'm more prone to take a quarterback in the first round before I take a corner in the first round. Now that's before I've seen some of these corners, so don't hold me to that. But right now, I'm more likely to take a quarterback than a quarterback than a cornerback in the first. It's my opinion on that because we're so young there. But people talking about the running back position. No, no more. I seen a guy from Alabama run. It's just they just offensive line. I like Zach Charbonnet. He played in Michigan. I love the talent. Um, I don't like he didn't have no receiving touchdowns, but he had some receiving yards though. Played for Chip Kelly out there in UCLA. I like him. I liked him at Michigan. I think he was a superior talent. I love his size. I think Aaron Choice was just speaking on him again. I forgot he was even around since he left Michigan, but this is a guy I would like it. I would like it with the Detroit Lions. Zach Charbonnet. I love his size. I love his quickness. I love his speed. I love his athleticism. I love everything about Zach Charbonnet. So yeah, I love Zach Charbonnet. I like what I see from Bijan Robinson. But if I get my hands on Charbonnet, I think that's the guy I really, really, really like. I wouldn't hate a second round running back. I wouldn't hate a running back and just a right running back, no matter where he at. Arizona gonna pop. Arizona, man, I don't know, man. They might trade down. They need the picks. They're rebuilding anyway. A lot of people think Levis can be the next Josh Allen. I've seen some of them more play action from a couple years ago. I'm not sure if he's athletic, but he's just as big as him. He got a big arm too. Louis Delmas, I hear that name yesterday. Shout out to Louis Delmas. I ain't heard from him in a minute. Hold on and get old boy out of South Carolina next year. That boy is a scrapper. Who from South Carolina? Quarterback? You ain't talking about Spencer Rattler, is you, bro? I'm good. Steve McNair said 2 years. Steve Young sat behind Joe Montana. They rushing these young guys today. And they are. And they are. I don't like it. I think, Tua could have used some time to build his more time to build his physical strength. But but I agree with they rushing them, and I don't mind taking somebody and sitting them. That's 100% fine with me. Sometimes you got to plan for the future. Sometimes, so, but nonetheless, I like Zach Charbonnet a lot. Somebody who he the 67th pick. Things can change the way he run. When you look at he averaged over 5 yards a carry damn near every year, other than his freshman year. He was big time in Michigan. I was mad as hell when he left. So Zach Charbonnet is probably the back I like the most that I've seen. I haven't seen the rest of them, but that's one of the backs I like the most. He's a beast. So yeah, but yeah, Bijan Robinson, he nice too. Can he stay healthy is the question. Good size. Athletic. 2 seasons of back-to-back over 1,100 yards. Got some receiving touchdowns in here. Got some receiving yards in here. 18 touchdowns. So, yep. So why you like? Cornerbacks. A lot of them first-round cornerbacks do this. It's Six. Six were first round grades. Um, six were first round grades. So Clark Phillips from Utah got the most picks out of them with six out of the first round guys. But Joey Porter from Penn State, he already declared. Here, a lot of Christian Gonzalez. I understand why a lot of people are attracted to the cornerback position. I get it. It's a lot of them. But I just think you so young in the back end. It's just to the point where I just think you need a veteran. Now, if the cornerback the best player on the board, guess what? My motto, you got to take him. Don't pass up on the best just to fill a need. Go ahead and take him. I understand. Marcus Peters had a really good rookie season. Marshawn Lattimore had a really good rookie season, I believe, too. So that's a position that take time to develop. And a lot of y'all want instant success. But with Brad Holmes, he don't care if you injured, beat up, as long as you eventually, able to contribute. So, good news if you in a cornerback position, you probably more like Brad Holmes probably in the business of just eventually when you produce, just produce when you're ready. You go to the linebacker position. Swell brother. Don't know not much about him. We got some guys there. The edge is a bunch of guys. Linebacker is my bad. Linebacker is one first round grade in the linebacker, one just slightly outside the first round. But the edge, you got five. Yeah, you got five guys with first round grades off the edge. Will Anderson, we know about him big time. Athletic. If you compare him with Aiden Hutchinson, obviously it's a couple guys that ain't coming back in that case. Big time off the edge. Him and Aiden Hutchinson. Whew. Miles Murphy don't know much about him. Tyree Wilson. That's where they got us project him to go to us. Don't know much about Tyree Wilson, but Texas Tech, they ain't always on TV. But he has 7 sacks back-to-back years. So we'll see. I wouldn't say edge is the most pressing need for the Lions, but if you're able to get a premier guy there, you can never have enough edge rushers. So, Jalen Carter leads the defensive line. Don't know much about Brian Brees from Clemson, but, seems like he got some good size and look like he, able to get some penetration on the inside a little bit too. So, but, we can talk about some free agents too real quick before I get out of here. Linebackers, Devontae Davis, he a little bit along in the tooth. Devin Bush, Michigan guy, not sure what he's doing over there. So yeah, a couple guys here that I'm familiar with. Deion Jones, I didn't know he was in Cleveland. We talking about cornerback real quick. Some of these guys can get tagged. Peters, he older. Bradley Roby, older. I like Bradbury, still a little older. Maybe he spent us from New York already. Anthony Brown, he coming off an injury. That's the messed up thing about that. Peterson, he old as hell. I'm surprised he made the switch to corner. I meant to safety. No Eli Apple, Kyle Fuller, no. I think Greedy Williams somewhere here. Yeah, Greedy Williams. Joe Juwan out there, Greedy Williams. So yeah, it's a couple guys. Greedy Williams you like. James Bradbury. The Eagles can't keep everybody under cap. So there's some guys out there that you like, and then you say who else? Defensive tackles. Fletcher Cox, he a little longer than two. Javon Hargraves might be another guy. He had 11 sacks this year. Darius Slay was advocated him being a Pro Bowl, so he might be somebody. Deron Payne is somebody if he don't get tagged. Deron Payne. Javon Hargraves. But obviously, you like to have the young. You would love to have the young Jalen Carter though. But there's some veterans down there that you can look at. Javon Hargrave going to cash in. Philly can't keep all these guys together. Deron Payne, you like him a lot. But obviously, I think a lot of people prefer to have the kid. Carter from Georgia. Would you trade for Trey Lance since we all can agree Bryce I think Brock Purdy's going. I mean, yes, I've talked about that. Yeah, I would. I would. You ain't got to worry about him starting right away. You ain't got to worry about him starting right away. I let him rehab for a year, get better. I would do it, but for the right price, I'm not about to give him a whole bunch of picks. So it depends on what you believe and how you believe your draft gonna line up. That's what I believe. Now, if you think you get a chance at Richardson or you think you get a chance at somebody else, then no. But what's the deal gonna be? That's I mean, I don't know. They gotta evaluate these quarterbacks. I don't. Brown Holmes love Pac-12 players, so I see him drafting a cornerback from Oregon and running back from UCLA. Yeah, I like Zach Charbonnet. You got to remember Zach Charbonnet played in Michigan. I was mad as hell when he gone. But I mean, you right. You could be right about that. But he took Aiden Hudson over Kayvon Thibodeau. He sure did. He took Aiden Hudson over Kayvon Thibodeau. So don't forget that. 49ers with NFL caliber quarterback. Trash. What's your thoughts on us? I don't think Jalen Ramsey. I think McVay said he coming back and Stafford coming back, so I don't think Ramsey gonna be available. Tyree offensive line going to get lots of loot off the cap. He said, "We'll have Trey Lance." I mean, at the end of the day, he hasn't done anything, but he still was a number three overall pick. So they're gonna try to upcharge for that. But to me, in my opinion, it's all about how you evaluate everybody else. It's all about how you evaluate everybody else. So, me personally, I ain't sure. I ain't sure. So, but it just depends on the price. But the Trey Lance, maybe I'm pretty sure. What's his name? Brad Holmes already looked at Trey Lance a little bit, and I'm pretty sure he gonna make a decision. He gonna make a decision on it. So he know kind of what he getting into with Trey Lance. So maybe he don't like him. Maybe he don't feel like he got an opportunity here. I don't know. But at some point, they're gonna have to hit the reset button on the quarterback position. Might not be next year, might not be 10 years from now, but it don't hurt to have one in the chamber just in case. In my opinion, it don't hurt. But yeah, if you like Trey Lance, I mean, you can, I think he fit what they want to do here. Big arm quarterback, good at throwing down the field, mobile quarterback, can handle the ball. I think he's good at what the 49ers is going to do. But Brock Purdy was better. And the Shanahans are notorious for taking, quarterbacks. They took RG3, number 2 overall, and then took Kirk Cousins later in that draft. Don't forget that. But yeah, maybe Trey Lance ain't the fit. Don't know. Maybe they give him an opportunity when he come back. Brock Purdy still can implode. Don't forget that he still can implode. Don't forget it. If Jackson took Aiden Hudson, we definitely would have got Kayvon. It showed that Aiden might be better. Yeah, Kayvon started off the year injured. He started coming on hot towards the end of the year. He got in trouble for that sack dance he did over injured Matt Ryan and stuff, But yeah, you might be right. You might be wrong. The rumor was it was going to be Trayvon Walker. Excuse me. That was the rumor. They was going to take Trayvon Walker. That was the rumor. They was going to take Trayvon Walker. If no Aiden Hudson, so they was going to take Walker. So Um, that was just a good rumor going around. I remember I did a video on it. That's what they were saying out of Jacksonville. If they took Hudson, they was going Trayvon Walker. So I don't think they was too high on Kayvon Thibodeaux. Some of the stuff they heard about him, but it was the same shit with Myles Garrett. They got you that good, they got a nitpick. But he definitely started to come on. He definitely started to come on late in the season. So we'll see. You gotta understand this is a sprint, not a marathon when you talk about the NFL, when you talk about the NFL. So it's not a 1 year thing. But other than that, man, I appreciate y'all. Hold on. He said Aiden higher physicality than Ziggy. Yeah, Ziggy was 50 years old when he got here. But nonetheless, appreciate y'all for tapping in, man. Let me know what you girls guys think, man. Thumbs up the video. I put this on Spotify Anchor in the morning. Peace.